Hey everybody, what's going on? This is your host, Dr. Jeff May, and I know it's been a minute since I've been in the podcast studio, but here we are on another episode of Doctor's Orders, advice you should actually take, and this one is going to be the shareable one. This is the one you've been waiting for, or maybe you really haven't been waiting for, but when you listen to it, you realize, man, I have been waiting for this, because today it's all about forgetting where you started. And the topic of how people fall off the wagon of habits that they know are good for them, that they know they want to carry out for their lifetime. Habits and actions that they want to model for their spouse potentially, but definitely for their kids. And we look at these things because one thing we all have in common as human beings is that we all have a deep desire to make our life better. We all have a desire to make our life better. Now, some people go off on that and they will do destructive things because they think that's going to help improve their life. Cheat, lie, steal, do all those things to make a quick buck and earn that because they think that dollar is going to help improve their life. And other people, they go into the hard work, honesty, and just integrity in those values. And it may be the longer game, but yet it may not be. But inevitably, why we take action in those certain directions is because we think it's going to help us. It's called an occurrence. And this is a book that I've been reading. A good friend of mine, Will Trapp, shout out to Will, follow him on Instagram. He's an amazing soccer player and an even better friend for sure. But there's a book called The 3 Laws of Performance that he sent me a message. He's like, dude, you should read this, and been reading that. And part of that has spurred on some conversation in terms of saying, hey, how things occur to people. Like, people are going to take action because they think it's going to naturally benefit. They're seeking good in their life. Now, they may go about it in bad ways, but they're seeking good. And so when we think about these things, why we act the way we do, inevitably we make a choice. Inevitably we say, hey, we want to have this result in my life. And then I think here's the action steps that are going to take me closer to there. And you take off and you take action. And in a lot of ways, especially in healthcare, sitting here for 15 years helping patients live healthier, happier, more productive lives, inevitably at some point for most people, they'll fall off the wagon. They fall short. They may, oh man, I've been eating really, really well. And then they have this big, not even a cheat meal, but they just cheat on their diet and they fall off the wagon. They're like, and they never get back on and they fall off. Or it could be going to the gym. It could be going to the chiropractor. It could be whatever the healthy habit is. It could be just stretching 10 minutes a day at home. Whatever it is, they stop. And why is it that they stop? And so that's today's episode. I want to share some insight into that on, forgetting why you started. Think about this concept, forgetting why you started. Inevitably, if you rewind the clock, you said, hey, I want this. I want to have more of this. It may be peace, love, joy, happiness in my life, better sleep, whatever it may be. You set out to do it. You want to weigh less. You want to look better. It may have been spurred on because springtime, summertime's coming, swimsuit season. It may be a time in your life where you're looking for a spouse to get married and you want to be attractive and you want to do those things. And it may be a phase in your life where you see your kids going down unhealthy habits that you don't want them to carry on the rest of your life because you know what that feels like and you know the damage and the toll it takes on whether it's your metabolism, your energy, your output, all of those things. And so you make that change for your kids. So whatever the reason is you make that change, you have a reason, you have a why. And there are countless books written on finding your why, finding your purpose, knowing your soul purpose, whatever label you want to put it on. You could literally close your eyes, walk outside, throw a baseball, and you'll probably hit a personal development coach. Now, all of a sudden we have life coaches, we have all these things. And that whole concept to me is kind of weird, but yet at the same time, there's a reason so many people seek out help. And there's a reason people, I'll be a life coach because I went through this. And whatever it is, and I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. What I'm saying is that purpose and why you do something, we all have it prior to taking action, whether you define it or not. And the better you define it, usually the better you are in your journey in hitting that original target or the result you wanted in your life. So let's break this down, just a mini review. You want to change something in your life. There's a reason you want to change it. So whatever that thing is, like I said, it could be getting in better shape. It could be losing weight. most of the things that I'm going to talk about are going to be health related because that's my career. That's what I do. That's what we see every day, helping people live the advantage life. That's what we call it around here. Yes, we put fancy names on it or fun names with the word advantage because it's catchy, and that's my deal. I like it. So there. Anyway, you have something that you want to improve in your life. You know you are not there. So where you're at and where you want to go, there's naturally a gap. In that gap is action. And it either moves you towards your goal or away from your goal. So there's no neutral. There's no like, oh, I'll just sit here and I'm okay where I'm at. Really, that doesn't work because we're continually aging. We're continually exposed to stress constantly. So like in life, there is no neutral. You're either moving forward or you're regressing. Like that's just how it is. It's forward or reverse. So you have where you're at, you have where you want to go, and you have that gap in between. The gap is only covered, that distance is only covered by action steps. And so now you start moving towards it. You may get a accountability partner. You may start walking. You change your habits. Whatever it is, something happens. Some action takes place. And that action is hopefully moving you towards your goals. Okay, so that's the mini review. Now, why do we stop? Why do we stop? Because ultimately we forgot why we started. As time goes on, and here's the thing we see in healthcare a lot of times, as time goes on, sometimes people get results and they're having great results. They're loving the changes that they're having, and then they forget the reason they started because they get comfortable. And as soon as you get comfortable, you just get in this place of compliancy, and then you're just compliant, and whatever comes along, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that's cool, until you inevitably find yourself back at the place where you're confused, you're frustrated, and ultimately pissed off because you wanted to make this change, and you wake up one day and you're back to where you started. So why did you stop in the first place? It's because you forgot why you started. You forgot the purpose of the whole thing. Now, if the purpose of saying, hey, I want to become healthier and drop weight, and as specific as you get because you want to model it for your kids and do all those things, does that journey ever really stop? Here's a newsflash for you. There is no finish line when it comes to health. In health, you're either moving forward or you're moving backwards. So there's no in between. And if you stop doing the things that are moving you forward, inevitably you're going to go back. And the reason people stop is because they forget why they started. You forgot the fact that your kids were watching. You forgot the fact that if you continue down this path, you're going to shave off 10 years at the end of your life because obesity literally will take 10 years off your life. Living unhealthy lifestyles, if we're meant to live to a certain age and a certain potential and functional ability through those ages and those stages, and we don't do that, it's because of the choices we made. You've got to look in the mirror and say, hey, I'm responsible for making choices each and every day that build up to the weeks, the months, the years, and here I am. This is a product. The outside will always reflect the inside, so those inside decisions that you make, and if you're moving them forward, you're going to see it on the outside, and if you don't see changes on the outside, chances are you didn't make changes on the inside. Okay, those are some hardcore facts, and I hope they hit you where the good Lord split you, because that's what it's going to take. It's going to take just facing the facts that I'm not very happy, and I'm disgusted, and I'm frustrated, and I have anxiety, I have depression, and I want to change it because I don't want to live my life like this. And so forgetting where you started ultimately is going to be the failure in hitting that target. If you forget why you started, you're going to stop. No human, in absence of knowing why they started, will continue down things that are difficult. Because guess what? Making healthcare changes is difficult. You got to choose your pain. Or it's been said like this: choose your hard. Okay, so life's going to be hard if you sit on the couch and eat like crap and just suck down Netflix and soda pops. I don't know. Like that to me is a very, very hard life. If you told me I had to do that right now, that'd be like hell on earth. That would be a version of hell on earth for me personally. I see it as, the fact of the matter is that like this morning, there's like a 2-mile trail in around our house, and I set my watch and I'm like, okay, I'm going to run a 9.5 minute pace. And that may not, like, for some people that's like whatever, but like it's up and down some hills and those things, and I'm like, I'm gonna do it, and it's gonna be difficult. It may not be necessarily hard, but it's gonna be a challenge for me right now with my cardio endurance. But I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna do it anyway. So you got to choose your hard. Like sitting on the couch is hard, or going out for a run is hard. Choose your hard, and depending on the hard that you choose, will get you the results that you're living right now. So my encouragement on this episode is don't forget where you started. Don't forget where you started, because ultimately that is going to be fuel moving forward. And what you will see happen, I promise you this, if you keep going, if you just don't friggin' quit and you keep going, you're going to attract other people around your family that you've been praying for to make healthcare changes. You're going to have friends that are going to be like, hey, can I go for that walk with you in the morning? You're going to start to see the change. Initially, you may get the pushback, like the old crabs in the bucket, like the analogy of a bunch of crabs in a bucket. One starts to climb out, the other one starts to pull them down. You may get pulled down and around you, and then you get the opportunity. Okay, it's a get to, not a have to. Remember, living life as a get to is a blessing. Living life as a have to is a flat out bitch. Period. End of story. So you may get some pull down, you may get some crab in the bucket in the beginning, but as you go through and you consistently move forward and you can become healthier, happier, more productive, there is no more attractive thing in a human being than someone who is living with purpose, moving towards a goal. It is a beautiful thing, and God loves it. God looks down and says, you go. You go, girl, you go, whatever, right? I'm proud of you for doing these things and moving forward and taking care of the temple that I gave you. Like, that's a pretty cool, powerful thing. So my advice to you in this one, and the doctor's orders in this one, a couple of things. If this episode served you well, hit the share button, listen to it, like kick it out there. Let me know. I want to know when people are listening. This is important so that I continue to produce some of these things and make sure we're on track to where it's helping people. This one helped me. I'm sitting here thinking, man, I can make some changes for sure. Second thing is write down why you started. Write it down. Put pen to paper. Let your eyes see your hand writing out your purpose and why you started the health habit, and make a commitment today. If you did fall off the wagon, to start today. There is no tomorrow. Like, tomorrow is never promised. So today, start doing what you need to do to move you back towards that target. Because these are easy, simple things. Share this, recommit if you have to, and watch what happens as you start remembering why you started. And it's such a beautiful thing. It's such a beautiful thing, because life is short, life is precious. And at the end of the day, I tell so many patients this in my office. I'm like, listen, you're worth it. You're worth it. No one is going to pursue your dreams for you. No one is going to pursue your targets for you. So get off your ass, and get after it today. And those are your doctor's orders.